Welcome to the Experience Gap, the insight shop to the rescue, where we turn customer nightmares into teachable moments for businesses. Each week, we bring you real stories of service breakdowns, highlight the moments that matter, and equip businesses with strategies to delight their customers. I'm Kate Complin, the owner of the Insight Shop. I created this podcast to give customers a voice, to share their stories and frustrations in hopes that companies would take notice, listen, and take action, as customers are your most important assets. Joining me today is Scott Moore, a longtime friend and colleague and CEO of Covalent Partners. Scott, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Great to see you. I always love working with you and our sort of quarterly check-in calls. It's nice to be with friends and family who share corporate genetic history and care about the same thing. So thanks for having me. Scott Moore. We met when I was leading marketing at Best Buy. I always like to talk about your intellectual country of origin. I start any problem as a marketer. Finance people start somewhere else. That's where I start. I've gone on to be a general manager, an operator, an entrepreneur, start a tech company, and now I've got my own strategic advisory and consulting practice, working any manner of any problems. So that company is called Covalent Partners. And what we do, if you think about covalent, the idea goes back to high school chemistry, which is there are covalent bonds. Covalent bonds are bonds for whom the two molecules share electrons. And so this is way more sciencey than I am, but I love the thought, which is H2O. It creates a different level of connection between the two entities. And so when we look at what I think we do best is take a look at situation one, situation two, it could be from two, and you're trying to look for what are the commonalities, what are the linking core electrons in the situation, how are you leveraging a bridge from here to there to create a stronger new whole. And so that manifests mostly in marketing and consumer and customer experience and that sort of stuff. I do a lot of work with startups in terms of how they frame and tell their stories and understanding where they're at, how they frame their value propositions, how they go raise money and or communicate to the world what they are. My core clients right now are in biotech and digital health. I always get pulled into retail stuff. And so that's me. That's what we do. I take this from Best Buy. You need a blue shirt. Do you want them to do it with you, do it for you, or do it yourself? And as an independent person, sometimes they want me to just do it for them, and that's the consulting practice. Sometimes they want me to do it with them. That's advisory. And sometimes it's help them do it themselves, which is building capabilities. It's been an exciting time to help grow this business. There's any manner of problems we can solve, but that's what we do.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your background, Scott. So, can you tell the audience about your poor experience with NESN, which is your Red Sox TV station? What fell short, what happened, and how did it impact you?
Sure. It was interesting. When you have a chance to air it out, I was like, I could talk about 50 of these things. I am originally from Cape Cod. I lived in Minnesota for 30 plus years working, at companies out there. And I moved back to help my mom move into assisted living. And so now I'm based in Boston on the South Shore. When I moved into my new place, I was like paying so much money, it was beyond cord cutting. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even need YouTube TV. I don't watch that much TV. I like art and I like reading. And what I care about is the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Patriots. And I think I could solve this problem by just downloading the NESN 360 app. So it's New England Sports Network, NESN.
Okay.
It's owned by the Boston Red Sox. It's been around for 40 years. Same time, like when I was a kid, I thought NESN was going to beat ESPN because why would someone look at ESPN? Like, isn't everything about the Red Sox when you're 10 years old? So by and large, it's been a tremendously good experience. I don't even have a TV. It's ironic as a Best Buy person, I've had TVs like you could imagine. Most Americans don't. I don't even have one up in my house right now. That's how un-TV I am at the moment. But I watch a lot of the Red Sox because hopefully they're going to make the playoffs and hopefully they're going to make a run. And that's what happens if you went through 86 years of pain. So I love it. I tell people, and I forget what it is, like $30 a month or something. Great. So I signed in one night to the app on my phone. So no problems. I love it. Talk about it. It works everywhere. And as I signed on, they said, would you like to add the Bruins and complete the rest of your year for 12 months for $60? And I put up a code in the app. And I was like, yes, I would. Thank you. So in the process, there's the code on app thing. Then I have to be authenticated. They switch screens, they authenticate me, and I come back and they're like, enter your code, and the code's gone. part one.
Mhm.
So I thought about, I'm like, whap, whap, this stinks. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't do anything wrong here. You just offered me. We made mistakes all the time. You had to wriggle your way through stuff. So I'm not unempathetic to the problem.
Right.
I track down the number and I call the sales office. And so I'll be honest about my behavior, which was not horrific, but not awesome. And her behavior, which was not horrific, but definitely not awesome. So I called and I'm like, hey, blah, 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 told the story. She's like, oh, that's only an email offer. And she's the sales rep taking the, a customer experience rep. I was like, yeah, no, it's a digital experience and I just got it and I would like it. She's like, well, no. We probably took 30 minutes, so I know that it hurts their KPIs if I stay on the line. So I just stayed on the line working the problem, which I think was driving her crazy. The Red Sox are on. I'm just talking at the same time. So I'm watching the game. And I just didn't relent. And so she would repeat, it doesn't happen. This can't happen. It has to be an email. It is not happening. I'm like, are you calling me a liar? She's like, I'm not. So that you could tell her NPS thing went off. I'm not calling the customer a liar.
Yep. Yep.
And she said the same thing every time. I can pass it to my manager. I was like, can I speak to your manager, a supervisor, which is usually a good tactic. No, she's like, I will email the manager. Can you copy me on the email? We can't do that. What's the manager's name? I can't say. All the things that she couldn't do for me. And I was like, honestly, I don't have a lot of trust in your systems right now because you're saying something that happened to me didn't happen. It did. And I'm pretty sure this is going to the email box in the sky from nowhere. Mm-hmm. So I basically let it play out. I'm going to say 30 minutes because I'm just watching baseball. But it's an obnoxiously long amount of time for the poor sales rep who is just trying to do her job. And I acknowledge this is not your fault. It's a systems issue. Like, you want to hand me to your CTO? Do you want to tell me to your head of CRM or your digital marketing person? And that's not a fair discussion. But I sat there for 30 seconds and she's like, you're interrupting me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So I stopped because I do. I'm a big interrupter. And so I said, well, you just technically interrupted me. So can I finish this? I didn't interrupt you. Okay, you did. So let it play out, done. And I finally just gave up. And I was like, okay, fine. I would like you to send the email to the person saying, I deserve this offer because you offered it to me. She's like, you can't get it. I was like, that is not my request. So I hang up. I'm like, that was a waste of time, but the Red Sox were doing good. And it was perfect. So that's part one. Part two, 2 days later, I get an email from NESN with the offer, which I'm convinced had nothing to do. There was no follow-up. It just happened. And so somewhere in their MarTech stack, something is not connected.
Right.
It does appear in the app.
Right.
Like, who knows what the problem was? But the point is not that. I accept reality. Like, the number of things we did wrong at Best Buy. It was voluminous. It's how you handle these restrictions. So the company didn't set the sales experience person up for success. The person was bound but couldn't think and listen, was not willing to go above and beyond. And so this time I take a picture of the code number. I sign in through the email. It works. And so I get my $60 for the rest of the year, which is like $30 a month. It was an amazing deal. And then the third point of pain is not Qualtrics. Who are they? Who's the Medallia? They're here to help. I have a ton of empathy for the poor associates who are commonly asked, and it impacts, I'm sure it impacts their pay. How did your experience go? And in this case, she did do a great job. And unfortunately, these poor sales reps or whoever they are, they get dinged on this stuff and it's not their fault. And so talk about throwing salt in the wound. 1, you messed up. 2, you didn't own it. 3, you actually incorrectly corrected the thing and gave me the deal I asked for, which would have been simple. Like, you must have an override. They have an override somewhere. I know this for a fact. They have an override.
Right. Yes.
And then in comes Medallia. And so I ripped all of them in Medallia. It's weird you're asking me. Then Medallia's dumb algorithm is not good. So it did no analysis of what I said. It's like, God is less than 7, means he's a net detractor. It just pouring salt in the wound. And so I'm like, if you read the last email, you'll see your system sucks. You have no override. The person was doing the best they could, but was not thinking. It's not a particularly good job. And then your dumb systems actually gave me the offer. So I'm actually a happy customer. And instead of letting me be a happy customer, you're reminding me how horrible your systems are. This is pretty 360-degree fail. For a rabid baseball fan. I'm like, deal for what they want. I let go of all TV and made it my home. And I added Bruins watching. So their watch is going to walk. And so, like, they just blew it.
Right.
The end.
So what I understand, what I guess I'm like confused about is clearly you're not going to call if you didn't see a code. And so if there is a code, Who cares what channel that code comes to you in? You're a fan. You want to continue to being a fan. You want to continue to use their services.
There was so many ways to simplify this.
Yes.
And I wasn't trying to attack her job. I just want the $60 offer, which you made. I had this code, it's gone.
Yes.
She didn't have any tools. Her boss or whoever ran the program did not set the employee up for success.
No.
And you need these things. And I think it's a lot of management consultants, a lot of IT builders who are like, it works every time. No IT system I've ever been involved with has ever worked perfectly.
No.
Google searches. After that, it's like it falls pretty fast. And so you need overrides. Then you need to watch. And overrides happen. 80% of our things are going through this way. Bring back consultant. I don't know. I felt bad, but in the end, there's probably a 10% chance her email went to someone. They had no communications back from the company saying, hey, Mr. Moore, we're sorry this happened. Johanna did the best she could. By the way, it's actually not $60. It's $30 because you spent 30 minutes. That is an answer. It has me talking about, hey, what a great experience I had. It's so easy, but they're trying to squeeze so much cost out. It's such a crappy world, and the tech sucks.
How does it make you feel when you're spending your time that you would be rather focusing on the Red Sox? And how does it make you feel when you're being called a liar?
It brings out not my best side. I've got good sides and bad sides. Like, I wasn't being wrong, but it was just not right. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But it is. Like, I feel this way with Comcast Xfinity. Their systems fail nearly 85% of the time.
Right.
And they keep me online for 2 hours, and then they charge me. They charge me to come for this. I'm like, do you know how much of my time you just ate because your system's broke? Like,
right.
Where's my? How come I don't get paid back? I think that would be a solution. The problem is start having to pay customers. It's like the Nate Bargatze on the Emmys. Did you see that?
Yeah. No, I did not see that one. No.
This is awesome. Sorry, digression, but I'm Captain Digression. So on the problem of the Emmys was people talk more than 45 seconds, right? Nate Bargatze, the host, put a $100,000 contribution to the Boys Club on the wall. He said, here's the deal. For every second over your 45 seconds, I'm deducting $1,000. So you're stealing from the Boys and Girls Club. For every second you're under, I'm adding $1,000 all night long. And so it's comedic, but effective. That is good because also like the customer has a voice and a place in the game. So just imagine if you can't solve it in 7 minutes or 3 steps. Right. You owe me.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not their business. So that's a longer term, bigger idea. But I love that application because it is eating our time. And they won't be any kind on any mistake they made.
Right. What would you say, thinking back to your story on NESN, what's the moment that really mattered to you to go right to feel good about being their customer? What would have had to go right for you to feel good about being their customer?
Oh, just honor their offer.
Yeah. And what would you say are the biggest pain points in that particular experience?
Because I wasn't looking to spend 30 minutes talking to poor Johanna, whoever she was. I think there's a lot like internal pain point. I'm being a total jerk here, as if it was my fault. Why do I chose to call you to follow up is not recognized as good corporate citizenship. It's viewed as complainer. So there's a little bit of psychic weight there, probably. That didn't feel good. I think when it progressed to like when I could see that she didn't have a solution, but if I bailed, I was going to get nothing.
Right.
That's a moment that's hard. Mm-hmm. My perverse logic of knowing that if I kept her on the line, she did get increasingly hot. But I wouldn't let her off because she can't hang up on me. So that was debatably mean or debatably effective. I'm not sure. And so I didn't want to have that. I wanted to watch, Yeah,
and I
want to see Trevor's story hit a home run. That's what I wanted to see. And I'm doing this.
Right.
And then the thing that made it work, and then the fact that they get no credit for this is I am just so convinced. Manager number 45 over an email had one list. The web developer number 8 had this. Something got connected somewhere. Maybe this was supposed to happen. They didn't tell the field. I don't know. Okay. And no one thought through. I don't know how long this promotion was. No one thought through, hey, when things go wrong, here's our plan. And it doesn't have to be AI awesome. Mm-hmm. Call Kate. Kate is the clearinghouse for the next 2 days on all the problems we're going to have. Kate's going to talk to Scotty, the tech guy, after 2 days. She's going to be like, yo, this thing is perfect. We did it. High five. Or this is a disaster. We need more code. Give me a list of codes I can tell people. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard, but the pressures, so much cost has been taken out of the companies. The pressures on these people is insane. I always talk about in my work life, the big factors driving the world are near ubiquitous wireless connectivity, proliferation of devices. The third one is heightening of consumer expectations. So right now, whether you're checking your NESN thing, buying a propeller, buying a helicopter, or going to Trader Joe's, you expect everything to work with one Amazon level, one-click seamlessness. Even Amazon screws up. But if you look at Amazon, look at the redundancies there. You want to turn it here or here? Did we make a mistake? They give you the money back, and like, something's probably screwed up. Like, we're not going to worry about the shrink on this one.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think our expectations have gone up, and then the world hasn't risen to meet it. So that's a problem.
To summarize, too, going back to like the contact center in general, the contact center leaders need to be connecting cross-functionally with their leaders to say what's coming, what's new, what's changing. And then as things are coming and new and changing, they need to be looking into their calls, the unhappy calls, and seeing what's going on so they can go back to those leaders and say, hey, something's going on with your deal. Can you go look into that? And they need to understand for the scripts that there are times when the agent needs to go off the script. And what are all their available options versus nothing?
The toolkit you give them. You don't need to give them a full tool shed. You need to give them a spade and a hatchet. It's interesting. Part of this now even makes me pause and think. My favorite New Yorker cartoon is two guys standing in front of a billboard. In that New Yorker cartoon, it just says "stop and think." That's what the billboard says, and the quote below caption says, "Sort of makes you stop and think." And it's simple, and I've used it a lot of times. It's usually once every couple of years it sneaks into some PowerPoint back when you did that. But that's the core problem right now. Something's broken in corporate.
Right.
We're entering clearly post-COVID, but maybe potentially entering a like corporations don't work the way they intended. I don't know if it's like in Hollywood, but the military style industrial production model it's rubbing and coming apart. You can hear it in the talent ESATs. You can hear it in this conversation here. There's a different kind of, like back when we produced Holiday, Molly Kinsella, her first job working for me, she's coming up from wherever. I was like, okay, you're going to be the producer of this new Holiday campaign. You're going to stick with Holiday for a year. And I want you to act like the producer of the movie called whatever year it was, Holiday. Mm-hmm. And so if you think about it that way, you're not like, it didn't work perfectly, but you're like, oh, what asset? Who's my director? How's this going to come in? It's a different way of thinking about how business gets done, how value is created. Something's wrong right now. And back to the New Yorker cartoon, there's just not enough time, space, structure, whatever, to stop and think. You'd be like, the times you actually think in a day are low. Like you and I, because I'm consulting on a wide set of problems right now. Mm-hmm. So my intellectual think is actually quite high, but as a CMO or a marketing lead or a GM, you're like pattern recognize, you're like boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to like, wait, what's the problem again?
Yeah, for sure.
How are these, how's this contact center person going to answer when the code's wrong? That's the only question. Maybe they answered and didn't tell. That's the other thing. Maybe they answered it and didn't tell her. Right. Like, who knows? But it's just so broken.
I agree with you. Well, thank you, Scott, for sharing.
Therapy.
Yeah, it's like, isn't it such nice therapy to just get it off your chest? So thank you, Scott, for sharing your story about your experience with NESN. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in to the Experience Gap, the Insight Shop to the rescue, helping businesses turn frustration into delight, one experience at a time.